Good morning, everyone, from Ozark Living Homestead. It's November the 21st, right around 9 o'clock or so. There's well, not a real storm, but it's actually just north of us, but we're getting a lot of cold air coming in. Tonight's supposed to be our coldest night so far this year. I think it's supposed to be down around 25 or so. But we just got a little shower. I mean, honestly, not enough to even barely wet the ground. But probably not even 30 miles north of us, they're getting snow and ice right now. And that's just the tail end of it. Most of it's up north. But luckily we didn't get any of that. I got some hay, a roll of hay. A big roll of hay. And the guy that bought the cow pasture that's to the right of me, a little piece of his is right in front of me, and to the right of me, he actually owns a car lot. It's kind of weird. He's got a big old car lot and garage up there, but there's no one that lives out here. So, but apparently he's been doing it for years and does okay there. I don't really know, but he raises a lot of cattle. In fact, he's bought quite a bit of land over the years around here. He owns quite a few acres, but and that pasture over there is like 60, 70 some acres that he just bought from the other guy. But anyway, he had this hay, these big round bales of hay, and it's not real good hay. He says his cows don't like it, and he has some real good hay that he feeds his cows. But he said that he's probably got a couple hundred bales of this stuff, and it's sitting out in the field, because up here they leave a lot of it out in the field. A lot of people don't have barn space or whatever to put all the hay at. And what happens, you can hear that wind, I know you guys can hear it, but a lot of people up here own hundreds of acres. And they don't do anything with it. So what they'll do, they'll sell the timber off of it. A lot of them will. Then they have these wide open fields and they just grow hay every year. Even if they don't have cattle, some do and some don't. But they'll sell the hay. But the problem is that there's so many of them doing it, it seems like, that they can't sell it every year. It just sits there in the fields and it just goes bad. Well, like I said, this is not the best hay. But he charged me $10 a roll, and this is the first one I tried, and the goats actually eat it. I couldn't keep them away from it when it was just setting out in the yard, and then we put it up against the fence so they could eat through it. And I got to cover it, of course, and I'm gonna build a shelter around where I can keep it under it, and then put some kind of pin around it so they can't tear it up, just destroy it, waste it. But I'm gonna get some good hay from it too. He told me he'd sell me some good hay, and but anyway, yeah, $10 a big roll. I mean, you can't beat it. Honestly, I can use it for composting. There's a lot of things. I'm feeding chickens, a lot of things. So you can't lose on it. And my neighbor across the street, the one I was telling you guys about, that I took him to the auction, him and his wife. They bought 2 baby nannies, and and I'm no expert by far from it when it comes to goats, because as you guys know, I had never had no goats, but I listen to people. I ask questions, I kind of research, I kind of study things, but I listen, I pay attention, how to take care of them when you first get them and all that. And they kind of didn't listen. And they read some books and stuff, but I told them when they got back, they were in my trailer, and we got back like midnight that night, and I told them, I said, I'll just leave my trailer here, and I just hook it up to your truck the next morning, and back it up to the pen. He had a pen built, so just back it up to the pen, open that door up, and just let them go right on the pen. Well, they decided they were going to just open the door up, go in, get them, put collars on them with leashes, and just walk them to the pen. Now we're talking about 2 baby nanny goats that have probably never had any kind of human contact, that are freaked out. They've been thrown in a trailer. Well, not thrown, I apologize for saying that, but put in a trailer. take it to an auction house, run through chutes, put in pins, and run through a ring and put back in pins. And then here we come along and he buys them, we put them, and they run them back up another chute, and then we put them in the back of our trailer, and then they got that long rough ride back here. Then they spend the night in the trailer, and they expected to just walk in and put collars on these goats and just walk them to the pen. Well, that didn't happen. And I was getting ready to go into town to pick up some stuff to finish my floor, which I didn't even get anything done on my floor yesterday at all. Because when he tried to get them out of the trailer, they were come out of that trailer running, and they had left their gate open. And these goats, one of them actually stayed on his property. Now his property is fenced in pretty good, but he's got some bad places and he knows he's got to fix. One of them got out of the gate and was over here on my side. Then when we tried to pin it up on my side, it ran across the road and up the hill, up another drive. So it took us, I'm not joking, probably 5 hours to catch this goat. And we're talking about a little goat, but she was scared to death. And finally what happened is we got it ran back across the road to my side. And the cow pasture in front of me, the front part or whatever, the side part of me, it went through the barbed wire and was running through there. Now, the only thing I could think of was, well, I'll take my nanny, the oldest one, because they're herding animals. They like to stay with other goats. Whether the other goats want them to or not, they'll stick close to them. So we took my nanny, we put her in the trailer because she won't go across that creek. And we took her over and we opened the cow pasture up, because they don't lock their cow pastures up here. They just chain them, and so we went in and let my nanny out and put her on a long tether. And the other neighbor that helps me a lot, he walked down through the cow pasture, and finally the little nanny saw her. Anyway. Good morning, everyone. It's first I want to apologize. My battery went dead on me yesterday when I first started this, and it's now the next day, the 22nd, about 8 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, I just want to finish what I was saying. His goat. Finally, we got it back across here. In this pasture, they have a small corral there. And so the neighbor actually led my nanny up in the corral. They have two gates. You go through one and through the other one when you're loading, when he loads the cows up. Well, he led my nanny right through one gate, and the baby nanny, Dolan, she followed right on in, and then he went up in the corner and we shut the gate behind her. So we had her trapped in the corral. They have hall panels on it, so they can't get through the gates or anything. But anyway, I went up in there with my truck and trailer, and we backed it right up to the gate, and because that's the way they have it set up. And you open it up, so basically the trailer blocks the gate. The cow has no choice but to go right up in there. So, and of course, she wasn't going to go up in there, and you couldn't run her up in there. So the neighbor went in and took the nanny, and with the tether on, the cable on her, and I held it from the outside. So the nanny was up in the trailer, and the neighbor came out and got away and got behind the little baby nanny, and basically they just pushed her up in there. They just kept walking toward her, and she'd run up in there, and then they shut her in. And that's how we got her. We took her back over, and we backed up to the pen like he should have to start off with, and opened the door, and she ran out and run right in the pen. And then when we got there, they still hadn't caught the other one, but it was hanging around really close. So we still had my nanny in the trailer, so we took her out and walked her up toward the other one, and she started following her, and we had already caught the first one and tied it off inside the pen so it couldn't come out. We left the gate open, and so the neighbor walked in with my nanny, and the other little baby followed her right on in, and I ran around and shut the gate. So we actually got them back in. But yeah, it was kind of a rough day, and something I hope I never have to do for myself. But I didn't mind helping him. Hopefully now he will pay a little more attention to and he knows what the goats are capable of doing right now. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna cut this off because I actually wanted to do another video for today, but I'm gonna cut this off and go ahead and do this other video. All right, have a nice day, guys.